Hey everyone, it's Dominique from Blogging My Undies. Sorry it's been a while. The front screen of my phone is cracked, so I'm actually in the bathroom filming, so that way I can aim the camera properly. Today's topic I wanted to talk about involves depression. Bit heavy of a topic, and it's a serious one. Something that I find isn't discussed often enough, in regards to depression for women specifically, is not just postpartum depression, or baby blues, but also pregnancy depression. I mean, I don't have the statistics or the numbers for you, but it does happen, and I wanted to share my experience with you because it happened about 2 years ago, and I think it's interesting, like, how it was handled. I did not want to have 3 children. Like, I love all my kids, they're fantastic. They all add a different spice in my life. But to be honest, I'll just say it straight up. Like, we didn't plan on having 3 kids, and it's not because of the V-man having autism. That plays a minor factor in it, but in reality, it can be costly to have more children, and traveling is wild. It costs over €1,000 to fly from Finland to Canada. So that's per person, and once your child is over the age of 2, they're considered an adult, or 2 and up actually. They're considered an adult because they get their own tray of food, they get their own seat. It doesn't matter if they sit in your lap for 90% of the trip, you still have to pay a ticket, same as an adult, because they are technically entitled to their own chair. So, I didn't have any signs of sadness or depression with the V-man or with the A-man. Actually, with the V-man, everything was very textbook, aside from, morning sickness. Nauseated, of course, but not, barfing my guts up. And with the A-man, because I had some complications with him, I didn't announce my pregnancy until after he was born. So technically I didn't announce it at all, at least on Facebook or to, all of my friends. I kept the list small, I told just some family members. But when we were traveling, I was under a great deal of stress and spotting and so on. So I just didn't want to risk, telling everyone, yay, baby number 2, only to find out that baby number 2 gets miscarried or what have you, because you just never know. Or stillbirth or whatever. And with number 3, with M-Girl, it was such a shock and a very unplanned, surprised kind of shock that I couldn't handle it. So I really didn't tell anybody except for the Hubster and the friends in Finland that would see me regularly and see me, grow. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to be pregnant again, and I didn't want to have another child, and it's just the way it was. So I knew I came to a breaking point when I realized that, okay, I really must be depressed, when I had a massive meltdown, temper tantrum, like a pack of 3-year-olds that are teething and tired, and I decided to go back to Canada. So I cleaned out the savings account, I had my passport in hand, I had a bag packed with enough stuff to get me to Canada, and I was ready to go. And I was beyond frustrated with the kids. I was maybe 6 months or so pregnant, and I just decided I was done. I would maybe have the baby in Canada and then give it up for adoption, or, have just one child and have the husband take care of the other 2 plus the dogs, which may seem, selfish in retrospect, but for me, I didn't want to be pregnant. And I know this sounds really bad, and I apologize to my daughter, whom I absolutely adore and love, but I just did not want to be pregnant. I didn't want to have another child. And at the same time, I didn't know what kind of regulations there were in Finland in regards to possibly seeking out abortion or putting the child up for adoption, you know, whichever was the easier method, probably adoption. And I just didn't know what to do. So thankfully, I actually got a message from a friend who invited me over for coffee, who didn't know how I was really feeling, and I just broke down and spent over 12 hours at her place, you know, crying, and we went out for a walk and everything. So when I realized that I was hitting that low of a sadness level, I realized, okay, I must be a little depressed. I mean, who would, in their right mind, pack up their bags, leave the country with all the money that they had, you know, and leave their children behind, their dogs, their husband, everything, you know, who would do that unless they had something going on mentally? So I booked an appointment right away with the doctor the following week, and she was the worst doctor I could possibly ever meet. I went in, I was on time for my appointment, and I sat down, and I was gone within 2 minutes because she looked at my file. She said, okay, it says here you are feeling depressed, and I said yes. And she asked me why I felt that way, and I said I've been screaming at my kids a lot, you know, for no reason. I've been crying a lot. I don't want to be pregnant. I don't want to have any more children. It's hard enough as it is with a non-verbal autistic one, you know, and another toddler hitting the terrible twos now. And the doctor told me I didn't look depressed and to just go home and take a nap. And she asked how long I had been married for, and I said about, at the time, like 7 or 8 years. And she just told me that I've been married too long and I'm just hormonal. That was my experience. And I told her flat out, like, who, you know, is just a little hormonal and decides to pack up their stuff and leave their family and go back to their native country when Finland, you know, in our opinion, is a great country to live in, a great country to raise your children in, you know. Why would I even come close to thinking about that if I didn't have something? And it's not that I wanted medicine or drugs or anything, I just needed to get it all out. And she booked me a psychologist appointment, and that was it. Just because I was showered, I had brushed my hair, brushed my teeth, washed my face, you know, I was dressed in clean clothing. Apparently I was not the picture of a depressed mother, a pregnant, expecting, you know, depressed mother. So that was a really low blow for me, and then I really didn't trust doctors for a long time, and I actually missed my psychologist appointment she had made for me. Not intentionally, just I wrote down the date wrong on my phone, and they never called me. And that's a pretty common thing in Finland, is that if you miss your appointment, it's on you. They rarely call you unless it's a very super special appointment or surgery. So then I ended up bumping into the psychologist at another meeting, an assessment checkup for the V-man or the A-man. So then she asked me, she reminded me, she said, hey, you know, I noticed you had an appointment with me, but you didn't show up. What happened? Do you want to meet? So I said, yes, I took up that offer, and I had been seeing her for about a year now. I actually just stopped recently, and I feel good. I feel better about myself, about the decisions I've made, about the cuts I've made in my life in terms of, you know, friendships and family members and so on. You know, I tried to ease out a lot of the negativity that was going on in my life, and that was bringing me down, and my family as well. So yeah, it's made a huge difference, and I guess the point of this video is simply that if you need help, get it. Get help before you hurt yourself, before you hurt your family members or hurt someone else, before it's too late. There's no shame in asking for help, and there should be no shame in admitting that you feel sad, you feel depressed. You know, when that doctor told me it was just a phase and it was just a part of my marriage because we've been together so long that it's bound to happen, I was very upset about it. And my husband was shocked because, you know, we like to think that we have a fairly good marriage going on. You know, we've been together a while, about 10 years now, all together, and we have our ups and downs, of course, like any other family. But we try to work it out and sort things out. And if need be, we will, you know, try and go to therapy if we can't sort it out ourselves. So yeah, that's pretty much what this video is about. And I encourage you to, you know, get help and talk about it, get a journal, get a hobby. That's what I ended up doing. I started picking up new hobbies. I, you know, relied more on my friends for comfort and for venting and what have you. And also the psychologist was a huge help as well. And it made a huge difference for me, I guess, because it was just a neutral person that I don't see every day, that I don't, you know, WhatsApp or Skype or use Messenger with every day. It was just a person to listen, and I think that made the world of a difference. And I started going out more with the dogs, doing more intensive hikes to help myself sleep better at night. And yeah, so I'm feeling a lot better now. I mean, not every blog post or video post I do will be full of sunshine and rainbows and unicorns, but I try, and, you know, I think it's a matter of, for me at least, letting go of the negative stuff and moving forward with positivity, and just trying to take everything with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to the kids, because the kids can really push my nerves and my buttons, all of them at the same time. So it's just a matter of, you know, taking it a day at a time and remembering that it can always be worse. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.